All right. It's good coming off of a win last week. It's something positive. It wasn't our best game, but I thought we competed and we got better in some areas. We were able to stop the run a little bit and we were able to run the ball. All that other stuff is, we're going to get better at. But those two are the most important thing that I look at every day and every week. We didn't have as many penalties in some areas. Concerned that we're only like 3 out of 9 on third down conversions for our offense. We had a couple of drops, and we've seemed to drop more the last couple of games than we have all year. So that's a little bit of a concern, but we're competing hard. Our special teams are getting better. We actually scored on a kickoff return. We had a couple of penalties, though, something to learn from. We had one bad kickoff return out of the entire day, which I think we had 9 kickoffs. And we made a couple of field goals in special teams. Shaq Washington made a couple of people miss on punt returns. So some positives to look at. One positive I look at as head coach is we were able to play everybody. This is the first time in 6 games that we've gone into a game and able to put somebody away and then play everybody, relax, get guys on film. Hadn't played too much. They might have played a few plays, but just a handful. So you need those games throughout the year to make your team better, to keep your spirits up, because when you come in here and only about 30 guys have played in a game, you got 120 of them in here, that's not good for spirits on a football team. So it was good for, a bunch of guys to get in there and give their best and see what they can do with all the time and practice they put in since last spring. So we got that win under our belt. Now we turn around and we face a team last year that jumped on us pretty quick down in South Florida. A team that has improved, got a better team. They were getting beat pretty bad last week and made an unbelievable comeback. I think they were down 24-7 at one point and made a heck of a comeback running and throwing the football against Tulsa last week. So Willie Taggart's done a good job. It'll be a very unusual phenomenon. Friday night at 7 o'clock, you'll see a fullback and a tight end on a football team. And you don't see that in college football much anymore. They run Stanford's offense. That's where Willie's from. And they do a lot of movement, motions, run the ball downhill. They have a true freshman running back that, he must be leading the conference because he's really done well. They've got big tight ends, and they do a lot of play action. So hard team to practice and prepare for in a short period of time. And this is even a shorter week that we play on Friday night. But, we'll be ready to go. Their defense is pretty much intact from last year. They've got very good defensive backs. They've got a lot of speed. They take most of their players from the area around Tampa and South Florida, and so we can expect to play one of the quicker teams that will play all year long. But we've got to play better. We've got to continue to try to get better. We won a game. We're 3-3. But it's something that we just got to understand that every day at practice we've got to get better because we're still not an entire football team. We've got a lot of guys that's growing up. Now they've got 6 games underneath their belt, and they're getting better, but we still make a lot of mistakes. Even Saturday we made a lot of mistakes and alignments and guys understanding the difference between man and zone and down and distance and how you play receivers on long yardage and short yardage. It's just a week's worth of work every week of trying to, teach them the common sense of football. But we're getting better. And, again, these guys are working hard, and we had a good practice. We had walkthroughs yesterday. We lifted weights. We had a practice on Sunday. Our day off this week will be Saturday because of having a short week and playing Friday night. But excited about getting back in conference play. We're starting the second half of our season, and hopefully we can do much better than we did the first half. Questions? Jared is, of course, he got in his name as paper. And, I talk to these guys every day about, hey, you're held a lot more responsible than anybody here on campus. They understand that, and right or wrong, football players, basketball players, athletes across the country are guilty until proven innocent, even in my eyes, because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, I don't know what happened, but we will find out. I've done some investigation, but he was in jail for a few days. I mean, he didn't get out until yesterday, And so we're finishing that up. But, again, it's all up to the courts. Right now he's suspended indefinitely. He won't be on the team, practicing, meetings, any of that stuff until he clears his name. Good chance he's not guilty. And then if that is correct, and, he'll be back. But, fighting, there's a lot of other things that's more that I look at as a player that do wrong things, the sexual abuse and, DUIs and all that thing. Fighting has happened for years, not on our football team. I mean, everybody's held accountable for what they do. And if you get your name in the paper, and even if you're not guilty, you're suspended until you prove yourself innocent, because you're in, again, like I said, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's what it is. It's a good way to lose a scholarship, a good way to lose your career and education and all that. But it's decisions young kids make. They've always made them. We've had problems at schools that I've coached at, played at. There's problems every day at other schools, and we'll have more problems here. It's just hard to get through their heads. Hey, you are different than everybody else. You can't even think about making a mistake or being close to a mistake. Even if it's not your fault, you're still implicated. So that's how we handle it. And, again, hopefully our players on the team see that and understand that, and we'll go from there.
What do you do with the quarterback who you've got Gunner and Munchie, obviously, who kind of moves?
It'll be Gunner and Munchie. Normally you just practice 2 throughout the year, and we've been fortunate this year that we've practiced 3. Now that's hurt us some and helped us some. It's helped us to this point because Jared was actually a guy that was mostly our number 2 guy for certain situations, and Munchie was not. Now Munchie gets all the snaps with the 2s, and so it'll be those 2 guys going in, and we'll probably travel. Hayden Moore or Mike Colosimo will be our 3rd guy. Hopefully we don't get to that point, but we're in a little bit better shape than you normally would be with having Munchie on the team with some experience.
How did Gunner get to the game with his bricks?
He did fine. He's just been beat up, and it was good to get him out. They looked at me like I was crazy Saturday. He's done after the series in the second half, Coach. I said, no. I mean, we're not going to have a lot of time to pull him out of a game. And he did a good job. We got him out. We got the other guys in, but not just him. We a lot of linemen, but he needed some time off, and he wasn't one of those to complain. He's been through a lot in the first 6 games, and he hadn't been sacked that much. He's been hit quite a bit. And the ribs on both sides are still bothering him some. It's not, and again, as I said last week, he's not ever going to be 100% as the season goes on. He just, too active, and quarterbacks just have to learn to play and with soreness and tightness and of all the things that you can't judge going into a season. That was what I was concerned about, how he's going to play when he gets the heck knocked out of him. And he's done unbelievable. He's played hard. He's practiced as much as he could, and he's worked through pain, and he's going to have to do it for the next 6 weeks.
Talk about the progress you saw, I guess, especially on defense. Can you temper that at all, considering the opponent you played wasn't very good? How do you really gauge how much progress you made? Can you get a feel for that this week?
Yeah, it's hard to judge. They're struggling. They've got most of their players back that we had a tough time with last year, except for the quarterback. And that quarterback was good. And he really made you pay for a mistake that you made at linebackers or secondary. And the kid's trying hard. At SMU, he's just young, inexperienced. And, he had some guys open. He threw behind them, threw over them. I was more excited about stopping the run. I think they had a couple of runs other than their quarterback that he ran about 40 yards in the 4th quarter against the 3rd team. A lot of the 3rd team defensive guys on the field, but we were able to stop the running game because they said that, of course, they looked at film. I mean, they know where we've been struggling. They wanted to come in and run the football more and take the pressure off the quarterback, and we were able to play better there. So are we getting any better? It looks like it, but again, we'll find out more this week. We're playing a team that likes to run the football, more power running, and so we'll have to buckle our chin straps this week and play against a different type of football team.
Because you're playing a team with a fullback and a tight end, you've been playing your defense with a neutral situation all year. Will that change?
No, we'll leave Payne will play. Of course, now a lot of the last 3 weeks with Payne being out, Kevin Wilson's played, which he's a linebacker anyway. So both will play. I think it's a good situation where Payne gives us more quickness, making tackles inside or outside on toss sweeps and things like that. And then Kevin gives us some more inside running game strength, playing a true Sam linebacker, which is the same position.
Anything new on Adrian?
He's not coming around at all. The growing is just still affecting me. Every week on Monday and Tuesday, he goes out and tries to push off and open up, and he can't do it. So that's a position that you can't play unless you're 100% with your legs. So he's still out.
I've been told by a knowledgeable member of your athletic department that you've got some good, what you think are good defensive players who are redshirting this year that you think bodes well for the future. Have you been tempted to take a redshirt offense and defensive struggles have gone on, or just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm more of an experienced guy, though. You can have that. We're not going to get the ready-made player coming in here. Every once in a while, we'll get one that can play and make mistakes and make up for those mistakes that he's going to make. Not very many teams get those type of players. Now, we had a very good recruiting class last year in linebackers and defensive linemen and defensive backs. We probably could put a group of 11 together, and it wouldn't be very far off from what we got playing right now out of that group in terms of talent. Now, experience is one other thing, because there's a lot, too, going out there and lining up one week against a team that runs no backs, and then this week coming back lining up against somebody that runs two tight ends, one tight end, two backs, and then changes everything around right before the snap. So we thought about it. We thought about playing I brought the two junior college defensive linemen in here from California who are going to be good players. And they are as good or better than what we have right now. They just don't know what they're doing, and they're not in playing shape. The thing that you get from junior college players sometimes is older kid probably they have more experience than high school kids, but they don't understand the speed of the game even from junior college to this level. So we had experienced guys like Beard and Mitchell at inside positions, and we said, hey, let's just go with experience. We know we're going to get pushed around a little bit because the young guys would be the same way. They wouldn't be any at all more effective than what we got. But in the long run, 3 or 4 years from now, we're going to be glad we did it. So we've got 4 DBs that we're excited about, corners, which we're really excited because we've had problems since we've been here just with depth, and then linebackers. Witherspoon, for instance, a kid that we signed from South Florida, is really going to be a heck of a linebacker. He just doesn't know what he's doing, but he can play. He could probably make up for some mistakes, but we already got enough mistakes. I see enough of those every week with experienced guys. So we'll just bite the bullet and go on with it. Now, if we were to have 3 or 4 more injuries, we still wouldn't have any choice, but we're getting over the threshold now. We're starting the second half. We're five more games after this week, so there's really no reason to jump in that. We'll work on when we work them every day. After practice, we work all of our young guys for 30 minutes, full speed work, blocking, tackling, their position, techniques, team, and we're getting a spring practice in about every 3 weeks, with these young guys. So we're building this thing for the future now, but the future for this football team is today. The future for them is going to be, the next few years.
You mentioned before about how gunners react to being getting the heck. Have you seen that affect the rest of the players, how they view him even?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody's got to look at your quarterback and depend on him. As I said, your quarterback is just not the quarterback of your offense. He's the leader of your team, because the defensive players have to be able to look at the quarterback, getting up off the ground, going the extra mile. If we need 6 points at the end of the game to win the game, the defense say, hey, this guy's he's going to do everything he can to score those 6 points. Let's get the ball back. So they're motivated by what the quarterback can do, works his way through. Our players last year had tremendous respect for Brandon Kay. That kid, I wouldn't have been playing. None of us in this room would have played as bad as he was beat up. He didn't practice but 2 days for the bowl game. And he had a month off. That's how bad he was. But he was gutty. He wanted to play. He wanted to work through it. And that's the type of player that you want on your team, and that's the type of player that these kids in here sitting in these red seats respect. And so you need a quarterback that everybody believes in not just as a quarterback, but also a man, a guy that will absolutely lay it on the line no matter what he's got left. And so far, Gunner's showed us every bit of that.
What's the status of Kevin Newman? That's another younger player, played in the Miami game, took him Saturday.
Yeah, he hurt his elbow in the 4 or 5 plays that he was in, and so he hadn't practiced since then. And we only have 3 linebackers that really play for us right now, so we're rotating those 3 out of 2 positions. We need him to come back, but he wasn't ready to go then. We just had to put him in because Cassius dislocated his elbow, and so he's out for the year, number 6, and so he's out. And so we played Kevin, and he did the same thing to the other elbow. His is not quite as bad, but he's not ready to go. So we're running on fumes at that position.
If he doesn't play the rest of the year, even though he played game 5, could you ask for a waiver of the medical waiver?
Oh yeah, you can ask for a medical as long as you got to have injuries. And of course, he's got an injury. We want him to play. I mean, I don't think there's any way that we can make it through the next 6 games with 3 linebackers, unless we took a Mike Tyson and moved down and played. But Kevin's not. I mean, he's 50%. I mean, he reached out and tried to grab number 8, and down at Miami, it didn't work out too well for him. And same thing happened to Cassius. So it's 2 guys that are not available right now that hopefully Cassius won't be back. Now he has an opportunity to redshirt. He's got a redshirt year, so we'll put a medical in for him definitely, and he'll more than likely get it back for next year. Kevin, he's got 4 more years, so we need him to come back and play. But he's not any good to anybody the way he is right now.
Do you feel any extra sense of urgency to win this year because you're trying to sell all those premium seats?
All the what?
Because you're trying to sell all those premium seats for next year?
No, I think people will show up next year. We want to win every game, but I'm not in the ticket selling business. That's what Kaz's job is. He sells tickets every day, but winning puts people in the stands. You look at some of these teams we played. Some of these teams we played have had winning seasons before, and they're not doing as well. And the stadiums are 20%, capacity. And it's all about winning. It's all about winning and keeping everybody's spirits up. And we'll win games. Like I said a couple weeks ago, it's not a short-term deal here. I'm in this for long haul. We're going to win a lot of games and going to have a lot of success. We just got to build it. We got to build it the right way. We got to get players in here. We got to get depth, and we got to get more speed, and we've got to have experience. And that it's like growing a tree. You can go out there and put it out there all you want and put sunshine on it and water, but it don't grow. It only grows so fast. It's not in any hurry. Well, this is the same deal. But you got to have patience. And I've been a guy that's redshirted all my life. I've coached with coaches that said, no, we're not redshirting, we're playing them all. I never understood that. I've always been redshirt every player. The more fifth-year seniors we got on this football team, more games we're going to win. Experience wins out for you. And so, we started that last year. We redshirted almost everybody. And but Mike Tyson and Zach Edwards, and this year we're redshirting probably 90% of them.
How much do you think it's hurt this program that the previous 3 coaches all left after 3 years?
Oh, you can't. I mean, it's devastating. You got to have continuity. You got to have people, the coaches that are going to be around, because it's a program that you set up. I mean, again, it's like building a house. You get foundation and what kind of nails you're going to use, what kind of wood you're going to use, how many rooms you're going to build, how big you want it. And so you got to build a program, and it's just not about the players. You got to bring the players in, fit them in the right spots, and then you got to grow them. And in the offense and defense, everybody says, your defense is not working, but it's going to work. I mean, I've seen it. The kids have to keep playing in it. We're not going to panic. We're not changing our defense. It's a defense that you can win. It's simple, and you just got to add the elements to it of not only talent but experience. And so, Cincinnati don't need me going somewhere else. I mean, I'll put it that way, and not just me, another coach. I mean, what is it? I'm the 4th in how many years? Anybody know?
Last 3 of 12.
I don't know how long Mark stayed. 10 years. I mean, you can't do that. You cannot do it. I mean, again, coaches build programs, okay? You've got to build a program. You got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And I'm not perfect, but everything I've taken has been from successful coaches. R.C. Slocum, Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson. I've seen how they've done it, and you take it from successful people. You know, we're thieves. We steal everything we can get. You know, ideas that worked, and my philosophy I pretty much had intact for the last 20 years. I hadn't changed hardly any. I've changed a little bit on offensive philosophy, but defense has been the same. Recruiting's been the same. All those things, and so it'll get done. I mean, we knew we were going to struggle a little bit this year. I mean, just look at all the young guys we got playing, and I don't blame it on anything other than, like I said, I lose every game for our players. You know, I don't win any, and I lose them all. It's my fault. But you know, we have a plan. Now, if I didn't have a plan, it'd be different. But we got a plan. Every day we work on recruiting. It's about players and players being here for a long time.
Is it an overstatement to say that every time a coach leaves, especially when they do it for 3 years, that you lose a recruiting class?
Oh yeah, I mean, you come in and I took the job at Texas Tech in late January. I mean, it was 2 weeks before signing date. Awful. I mean, you can't do it. You're going to lose guys that are committed. You've got to recruit kids for 2-3 years, not just 1 year. I mean, last year we had a real good recruiting class, and that's a credit to the coaches because they knew, and we're in this business, we know you can't have 2 back-to-back bad years, and they busted it, and they got after it. But it's about evaluating and getting players on your campus. Our camps, last year we had almost 3,000 kids come to this campus, go through this building, look at Cincinnati, watch them practice. We got to know them. Some of them were 9th graders, some were 10th graders, so you get to know them. And there's some players that are real good players, and you can remember him, hey, he's a heck of a player. He ain't going to fit here. So you don't bring guys in here just because they're football players. You got to make sure they fit in this environment because if they come and leave, they don't do you any good. And so the evaluation part of recruiting is the most important. And then, of course, you got to sell them. And, you know, anybody can go out there and look at a 5-star list and say, let's go recruit all these 5-stars. I ain't seen many 5-stars ever in college football. But they got a bunch of them ranked. You know, I'd rather have a bunch of hard-nosed 3-stars and go to war with those guys other than guys that are predicted to be 5-stars just because they did a few good things. And you know, give me a good team player that's hard-nosed, you're going to win a lot of games.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you.